I saw this study that discussed the top 30 most livable small cities in the United States. But here in today's video, we're only going to focus on the top 10 because little do you know, there's a small city near Raleigh, North Carolina that actually made this list. But also stick around to see which area is number one. And if you think you can guess which one is number one, or even that small city near Raleigh, North Carolina, let us know in the comments below what your guess is so you can see if you were right or wrong. Now, if you're new to me and this YouTube channel, we talk about everything you need to know about Raleigh, North Carolina. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. But also, I am a licensed realtor here. So if you guys need any assistance or have any questions about your relocation needs, just reach out. Let's go ahead and dive right into the content in itself and identify first and foremost, I want to be able to give you guys some of the context of what this study used as a criteria. And you guys can see here, some of them being housing affordability, right? So the spread of business offerings, financial standing, unemployment levels, average commute times, and healthcare coverages. So those are the factors that is included in everything to decide, what makes a small area a good area. If you guys were curious to know, how did this all even come about? So you can tell a lot went into the study. But it doesn't stop there because, of course, one thing that it didn't really talk about was the population size. And honestly, the population size for this study was literally capped out at 100,000. It was actually in the range from 65,000 to 100,000, which ultimately led to 281 cities being compared. But if we go ahead and look at the very first city that I'll talk about, which was top 10 on this list, and then we'll go backwards to find out which area is number one, but better yet, which area near the Raleigh area made it on this list. If you can see, we got Wisconsin's Oshkosh, and honestly, you guys know I'm not from there. I haven't visited a lot of these places. Honestly, I was looking at, I was like, man, how am I going to talk about these places? Because I haven't been there. I haven't visited. So we're really going to talk about the main basis of, just cost, real estate, and we'll actually look at commute times because, of course, I think those are some of the things that are important. Now, if you want to take a look at any other data, then you are free to do so. But here we can look at the monthly housing cost that is shown right here. And I'm not going to really go ahead and talk about everything in detail. I'm just going to kind of go through this list because I think what's most important is getting to the one that hit the Raleigh area. So we have household income at 58,000, and then average commute time or mean commute time here, which is 15 minutes. Now let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is, so we got Michigan. Livonia, okay, I don't know where that is located, where in Michigan, but for all you guys that's in Michigan right now, you guys know exactly where it is, or maybe you visit this area. So housing costs is being about 1,100, household income about almost 90 grand. I don't know, very close to 100, which is very, very, very impressive. The commute time being 23 minutes, and the household income being that high, it says a lot about the area in itself, which makes me want to take a look at the business aspect of things, right? Because that means there's a lot of businesses out there for you be making 100 grand in, especially the median household income. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. We got Minnesota, Plymouth, and we got housing costs about 16. So it's getting a little bit more pricier, as you guys can kind of see, right? Household income being over that 100 grand my aspect, and then the commute time being 21 minutes. So as I'm going through this list, I'm identifying, I'm seeing there's a bit of a trend here. I'm not sure if you guys were able to pick it up here, but a lot of the Midwest states are actually on this list. And so I go ahead and ask myself and wonder, well, why is that the case? And the only logical thing I was able to think of is maybe it comes down to the housing costs, right? Housing affordability is a reason why those Midwest states are dominating this list. But I did mention there is an area near Raleigh that made the list. Well, here it is. So if we go ahead and take a look at this entirely, we can see that Apex, North Carolina made the list. It's actually, known for it. There's a good old saying that goes around. It's called the peak of good living. And Apex, I've actually spent a little bit of time there. I travel there quite honestly a lot because a lot of individuals do seek to be in this area. So it's actually good to see, one North Carolina name on this list. In fact, it being in the triangle on top of that makes it even sweeter because now you guys can actually see, Apex being a small town that's really close to Cary as well, and Morrisville. So if you want to be in between that, or you want to be close to that, or even close to the airport, close to Raleigh, you're about 15-20 minutes from Raleigh in itself, maybe about 5-10 minutes from the airport. But these are kind of the guidelines, and as we've been going over the housing costs, right? So it's a little bit up there in terms of 1,700 household income. You're looking at 120 easily, right? And that's with the help of RTP Research Triangle Park. Definitely has a weight into that. And commute time being 22 minutes. And now that I think about it, commute times to what is a big question that I have. Where are they identifying it's a commute time? Is it just based off of where people are traveling to, or whatever the case is? But, this is an area that, as I'm having my notes here, I'm looking at it right now. It's, houses about 75,000 people, which I don't really see here. And that's honestly going to continuously grow as Apex continuously to grow itself. As more individuals find out about Apex, definitely that number is not going to stay stagnant. So maybe it won't be on that small city list forever and ever, because it might outgrow the list. Who knows? But one thing I definitely want to mention, as we're going to go ahead and go through this list some more, is there were more cities in North Carolina that did make this list. It just did not make the top 10. Honestly, you guys can take your free time to take a look at the list and go through it entirely. But here I have Asheville at 97. We have Greenville at 167. Gastonia at 187. And Jacksonville at 249. So that is where those other cities in North Carolina did stand at. But let's go ahead and continue to go through this list to find out which one is number one. So here we have Appleton, Wisconsin. So another Wisconsin made the list, and housing costs has dropped here, as you guys were able to see in comparison to what we were kind of experiencing. Household income at 75,000, and then the commute time 18 minutes. Let's go ahead and check out the next one, which is Redmond, Washington. Yeah, this is definitely Washington State. And household income is about 150. Good Lord. That's the highest we've seen on this list today. So you guys in Washington, you guys are experiencing something special, I will say, because wow. Anyways, housing costs 2,300, which makes sense because, if you're making this much, the dollar cost has to go somewhere. And you can see 18% of someone's income is going to housing, which is good, because I think it's like 30% is like a good threshold that they say. And then your commute time being 20 minutes or 19 minutes, just under. Did I miss one? No, I didn't. Then we have Franklin, Tennessee. Nice. So monthly cost for housing is 1,800. Household income just about 108. And then your commute time being 23 minutes, as you guys can see right here. And as we get closer to that number one area, let's go ahead and check out the top three, which we have Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Sounds like France to me, honestly. Somebody who made that up must have been from France. I have no idea, but woo, that was a good one. Anyways, housing costs being about $1,000, which is really pretty impressive. But geez, look at that poverty rate. So that is way too high, and honestly what's going to follow is unemployment at some point in time. So definitely something to keep in mind. All these numbers are great and all, but you got to really weed through the numbers to see what's the real scenario that's going on. And honestly, that poverty rate is pretty high in comparison to what we've seen. So we've seen 3%, 5%, we've seen 7%, 2%, 3%, 4%, and 16. So wow, that Wisconsin had a high one as well that I did not even pay too much attention to, but that says something. Definitely check it out. But you have your median commute time up to about 16 minutes. And we're talking about the top two now, and we're at number 2, which is Rochester Hills, Michigan. Pretty decent numbers I have here. So housing costs $1,500. 16% of someone's 107 for household income goes to housing in itself. Low poverty rate, and unemployment is low as well, these are all great. These are all great things. All right, and these are some of the things that you guys should be looking at, because if you look at them, then you can kind of see what what kind of experience may you have if you were to step into that market? And the last but not least, but the commute time is 23 minutes. However, the moment we've all been waiting for, which is to find out which city is number one on the most livable small city in the United States. I want to emphasize small city in the United States. But let's go ahead and go check that out. Which we can see here, the top area that made the list is Troy, Michigan. So if anybody is watching this from there, or better yet, you visited there or you have family, whatever the case may be, please share your thoughts and concerns and everything that somebody should know about Troy, Michigan before they decide to take that leap of faith and go by this list that says Troy, Michigan is the number one most livable small city in the United States. Because I mean, we can look at the housing cost, which is about $1,300. We can look household income about $110, poverty rate 6%. Unemployment is pretty low, right? We can look at, the 22 minutes of commute time, but none of this really shares the exact story, like boots on the ground. So if you're out there and you're watching this right now and you visited or even have relatives, somebody that's out there, please share this video with them so they can share their thoughts about what's going on in Troy, Michigan, to let everybody know what is really happening there, so that they know if they need to make a move there, they can kind of get prepped a little bit more before making that move and making it official for themselves. And not only if you're from Troy, Michigan, but let's just say you're from any one of these cities on this list. Now, I wasn't able to speak about all the cities just because I do not have all the expertise and experience to be able to speak on them. So if you are from any of those cities that did make that top 10 list, please share your thoughts, concerns, and even your opinions below in the comments below for those individuals that may be looking in that market. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and I am a licensed realtor here in North Carolina, and would love nothing more but the opportunity and the ability to assist you with your relocation needs. So you see that number that is popping up right there. Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. Always remember one thing: I got your back in this market.